All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, more of you commented, and I'm going to comment on your comment. And oftentimes, if you watch these sections, I will reference the gaffer named Bob or the grip named Bob, and this is my fake crew member that I am speaking to. And sometimes, I speak quite nicely to Bob, but in my head, I'm judging. And let me say that I am constantly judging, all of the time, judging everyone on set all of the time. And I am measuring them up against a fictitious version of me who would be doing their jobs slightly better than they're doing their jobs. So that's what I'm constantly thinking. Now, in reality, am I actually better at their jobs? Definitely not, right? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean I can't dream, okay? So just keep that as you watch this video and as you listen to this response, just know that that is me always and everywhere. Because if I can blame other people for why the images don't look great because they're not living up to my expectations, I can sleep at night. That makes me feel better. Okay, now that we've got that foundation, let's get into this question. And this is a good one. It's from Mava BM, right? Probably works for Black Magic. But wait, sometimes I get absolute paranoia that I am a Bob to a few DPs. Now, in the video where this was actually commented, I'm talking about how I don't bother to tell Bob that he's dog shit at his job, because I want to be nice and cordial to people, and I want to say, okay, you know, great, see you on the next job, and then just never talk to them again. And I'll explain why I do that in a second. So that was where this comment originally started. So how do I know if I never receive honest feedback that I'm not good at my job? You know you're not good at your job if you're not doing your job very often. There's nobody who's like a fantastic cinematographer that isn't working all of the time, unless they're a giant D-bag. So you got two options. Either you're not good at your job or you're a giant D-bag, okay? Those are really it. If you have skills and talent, and of course we're going to get people commenting, well, the economy's down and markets are bad and that way no one's hiring. Yeah, no one's hiring the people in the middle. You know where I live? I also live in the middle, okay? This is not me judging you. I'm just saying if you're on the higher end, chances are you're working, right? Those jobs just filter up. Okay, I always ask for feedback from DPs and I always get positive returns. Are these DPs doing what I do? But I never know how much real they are. And so without criticism, I'm not sure how to improve. Maybe you can never give Bob a job again, but please, can we normalize giving honest advice, even sometimes brutal, to technicians? Okay, I'm going to tackle this in a few different pieces because this is, you're getting into profound territory with not only honest advice, but sometimes brutal advice to technicians, okay? Let's start with, I never know how much real they are, and so without criticism, I'm not sure how to improve. Okay, it's your job to figure out how to improve. I can give you tips on how to improve, but no one will ever do them. Why? Because people are set in their own ways. Of course, they think they're right. They think they're right because that's the way they're doing it. If they thought they could do it another way, they would do it another way. Let me just set expectations for what I imagine like. If you were going to picture the world's perfect gaffer or grip or anyone on your team, just like the director uses the cinematographer or the DP to say, hey, this is my harebrained idea. If you don't tell me why, A, it's too hard, it's not going to work for schedule, it's too expensive. If you don't tell me those things, I expect that you can do them. My whole job is to cook up problems for you, cinematographer and producer and first AD and everyone else to sort out. The person at the top, you want a waterfall of problems to everyone else. You're like, tell me why we can't do this. And the smartest directors, if you've ever worked with really smart directors, man, you better bring your A game because they will know whether or not you can do something and whether or not it's too hard. So if you come in with like a soft excuse of like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work because, you know, we can't get the light up to the second floor. It's like, well, why can't we get a light up to the second floor? Oh, because then we'd have to get a cherry pickers and it would be quite a big setup. Yeah, we can get cherry pickers. So you're like, you know, they talk to the producer, Sally, can we get cherry pickers? Is there a reason we can't? Sally goes, oh, it's kind of out of the budget, but does that mean it's in the budget? You're like, oh yeah, okay, we can do it. And they turn around and go like, yeah, they have something. They're snappy because they know all of the solutions themselves. And so they're looking for pushback if there's anything that they're not aware of. Generally, they're going to be aware of everything. Just like a cinematographer, I'm going to be aware. I might not know the names of all of the lamps, but I probably know the problems that come with whatever solution I am putting forward. And I'm not most of the time, I don't even want to put forward a solution. I want to put forth a problem. We have to light this thing. I want it to look like day. Let's bring in a giant source and slash it through here. And I already know, even if I already know, if I've already spoken to the producer and they're like, ooh, this one's kind of low budget. It's like, that's a you problem, gaffer. Okay, that's a you problem. Now, I know that you're going to come back to me and say, oh, we don't have a Jenny. And then I'm going to say, how do we do it without a Jenny? What would you do? I know what I would do. What would you do? And they go, ooh, we could try X, Y, or Z. It's like, okay, well, I would do it with a generator and I would do it with this lamp. And that's what I would tell the producer. And if the producer says, we can't do it that way because we have no money, then I say, okay, I told you what I would do. Now let's try and fix the next thing. Let's try and fix what we actually have. You go back to the gaffer. Do you have a solution for this? Like, let me think of something. Maybe we have to change the whole look altogether. But I want someone to, if there is something that we can overcome, you have to tell me. Okay? You have to tell me. That's what I'm looking for from someone who's really good, remembering that I'm judging all of their solutions always and everywhere. Okay? Because when they say a solution, guess what? Guess who's on the line? Boom. They are. Guess what we are testing in the real world? Their knowledge. If the thing doesn't look like what I asked for, bang, I'm on to you, right? You're a little bit suspect. I know that the next setup, I'm just going to have to do it myself. And me having to do it myself means I want to tell you the exact lamp, the exact place to put it. I want to tell you that I don't care how long it takes, or that we need to get more stands out of the car, or it's going to be a nightmare, or whatever the solution is going to be. Okay? So I'm constantly throwing in there. Now, why don't most cinematographers, well, I'll just speak for myself, why I wouldn't go through the process if I was working with Bob, and Bob was making things that were not as good as they could possibly be and was working inefficiently. Now, the problem is, say like you're on a travel job, and let's just say I'm never going to see Bob again, but Bob's a nice person. The amount of effort and energy on my part to tell Bob that he's doing it wrong is not worth the squeeze. Like, and that could be because I'm a bad person. And I'm thinking about, they had, they had sushi. They had a great sushi bar at the restaurant, at the hotel. I want to get back there and eat it. That's what I'm thinking after the shoot. I'm not thinking, how can I make Bob's life better by, what did you say? Honest advice or brutal? Try brutal advice on someone, on anyone. Try brutal advice on anyone. You know how much, how many thanks you're going to get for that? Donuts. 0. You're going to get nothing, and no one's going to change. Maybe, again, just my opinion. People don't do it because it requires a lot of energy. You know what requires less energy? It's just going, I solved the problem myself. My solution is never to get Bob again. Now, if Bob comes up and asks, it's like, what could I have done better? I will say it. I mean, depends, right? Because even the people that you work with all of the time, you're not going to be brutally honest. Like, I'm going to give like one little tip that might be able to help someone, because I could critique 1,000 things. Why? Because the cinematographer's sitting around the entire time while everyone else is working. Okay, you have to imagine, this is not, because sometimes you get messages from people like, yeah, you got a lot of time on set while these people are building these things. When I do my jobs and it's just me and my friend who doesn't even work in filmmaking, I'm just dragging him along so he can carry shot bags or something. I don't seem to have a lot of time. That's a different world. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about in my world is I'm the insurance for the production. It's like, if it looks like shit, you come and talk to me. If you don't like the look, I'm the one to blame. I am the gutter, the catch-all for blame. And I'm happy to be that insurance, right? I'm happy to be that insurance because I have confidence in my ability to take whatever you're telling me and to translate it into the final image. Okay, now if I'm not doing that, you come to me. Bang, that's it. That's all I'm doing. When I'm on set, though, I'm not doing much because I need other people to action all the things. There's just too many variables. And I don't like to work on jobs where I'm the one manipulating those variables. I would rather have a team, tell them to manipulate the variables, and then see the outcome. Okay, so I have a lot of time on set to sit around and critique and go like, oh man, this could be 10% faster or 20% faster. 99% of the time that I have ever seen a lighting setup that I have on a job that I've been working on, I could have changed something for sure. Could have been like 9 times out of 10. My number one internal gripe when I'm sitting at the camera is like, why is this taking so long? Why is this taking so long? How? I need everybody, when everything is all set up and all of the lamps are in place and all the bounces are in place, I need everybody on a stand next to some sort of source so that we can bring this symphony of light all together at once, because it's all about balance. That's my number one thing is like, it's not Bob, because Bob is like right behind you on the walkie-talkie telling the team like, okay, move left, move right, pan it off, give me 25% less. It's like when it's not Bob, it's Bill, right? The best boy. Like, where is Bill? Like, oh no, he's taking a dump. It's like, you have, out of a 12-hour film day, you have 10 hours to take a dump. 2 collective hours you have to be working. And if you don't know those little tiny bits you have to be working, that's the problem. So for me, I would say I don't provide feedback, especially on travel jobs. I'm not providing feedback because it's just too much energy and you get nothing in return. And you're like, well, but how do I get better? You get better by you getting better. You look at your performance and you say, what did I do wrong? Have an honest self-assessment. It's like, you don't think the same thing happens with directors? For sure. For sure. I've worked with, I don't know, at least 100 different directors who I've never seen again. I've worked with lots of directors who I've been on like multiple jobs with, and then no more jobs. And you know what has happened? They've bobbed me. They bobbed me. I did something wrong. I was too slow. I was too expensive. I brought out too much gear. The images weren't that good in the end. I have a terrible personality. Like, all of those things played into it. You know how many ever said a bad word? The only people who have ever been super, super negative on set have been the directors that I've worked with time and time again, because you build up the relationship to be like, well, this is not what I was thinking. This looks horrible. Like, you got to fix it fast. It's like, okay. If you respond well to that, well, they might get you back, right? And maybe they get you back because nobody else likes them and no one else will work for them. I'll do that. I'll do that job all day long. But I don't give feedback because it's not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. Now, you can see if someone is motivated and they come up to you and they're like, what did you think of that last setup? And I'll be, well, honestly, we could have done a whole bunch of stuff better. But mainly it's speed. And mainly it's, if I say something, if I suggest something and it's harder than I'm imagining in my head, and you know it's harder, and you push back because it's too hard without telling me it's too hard, that's like the worst. You got to give me a reason. Give me a reason why you want to do it your way, because 99 times out of 100, every gaffer or grip wants to do it their way. They think that they have a better way. If it comes back that your way is shittier than mine, oh man, I got to bob you. Unfortunately, it's like, you get a couple of those, I get it, but not many. What was the other one here? Always ask for feedback from DPs. I'm always going to be positive. If you always get positive returns, you don't know how much is real. None of it's real. All right. Unless you're, I don't know. I don't want to say psychopath, but imagine how much time that would take. We're not sitting there like we are now watching YouTube, me sitting here all by myself in my nice little room with no one responding. If you give someone brutally honest feedback, they're not going to like you. And if the crew doesn't like you, which happens all the time, you know how slow, like, it only takes a little tiny bit of dislike or of an idea from a crew member to just go like, I'm just going to pull the handbrake a little, right? I'm just going to, even like any position on set, any position that is operating on set on the day, between the time that you land at a location and the time that you hit the roll button, any position in there can derail an entire project for a cinematographer or a director, right? Think about it, like if you're the second AC and you land and you got to set the wireless up and the monitors or something, or you don't have like a video split operator, so they're setting up the Terry decks all over the place. If they go just a little bit slow, then they can't do the next thing. And if they don't like you, it's like, oh, I'm just going to, do a little bit slow, and maybe there's a problem. Maybe they just saunter over and you're there trying to get a sunset shot, and you just look at them and you go, I see what you're doing. I see. Touche for that time that I provided brutally honest feedback. No way am I doing that. You're out of your mind. No. I mean, I wouldn't even, how's this? If you get honest feedback from someone and honest critique about the job that you're doing, that person has to really, really like you. That's a great sign. In fact, that's probably the best sign. Why? Because they have to invest energy, and they're doing it because they think that they will work with you again. Like they'll see you in the future. Like if I had a local job with somebody and they were a space cadet, but there was no other option for that position, well now, okay, everything's different. Now I got to like coach you because eventually it makes my job easier. If I'm never going to see you again, what? Or if there's multiple options in town and I can just get, Rick instead of Bob, like, Bob, great to see you. I know I'm going to see you at the Christmas party this year for so-and-so production company, so I'm not going to make it awkward or uncomfortable. That was a great job you did today, and looking forward to the next one, right? Okay, see you next time, champ. That's it. No way honest feedback. Get out of here. So, I don't know. Of course, maybe that's why. Maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. Look at me. I'm talking to you. Actually, I'm talking to myself. Oh, God. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.